Hello there. This is a Konica Auto Reflex T. It's an old single lens reflex film camera. This was given to me by my stepson 25 or 30 years ago, and it came with a 52 millimeter Hexanon lens, 1.8 f1.8 aperture, I believe, and it came to me also with this. What this is an old General Electric light meter. I believe this is a FW58 or DW rather, sorry, 58. The reason it came with this light meter is because the meter in this camera does not work. They take the old mercury batteries, but there are ways around that. You can put modern batteries in them. They make an adapter that slides into the battery compartment, and you put like LR44s in them, and like 3 or 4 of them, and the adapter steps down the voltage so that it's correct for the camera's meter. The only problem with that regarding this camera is that the meter's broken. The connections inside that connect to the meter, the battery to the meter, are broken. Now I could go in and try to fix it, but I love this camera too much, and I don't want to damage it or mess it up. I use this camera with what's known as the Sunny 16 rule, which works in the daytime really well if you learn how to use it. But this meter will allow me to use it in all kinds of different places. The reason I've not used this meter with it before is because back when he gave it to me, there wasn't any such thing as an internet. Okay, I didn't have any way that I could think of to find a manual for this light meter, and I had no idea how to use one. So I used the Sunny 16 rule, and I was really happy with the camera, and still am. But now using this has become possible because there's this lovely thing called the internet. And I went on YouTube, found a tutorial for it. I went online and looked for the manual for it. So I understand how to use this now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and this and put some Fujifilm Superior 400 Extra 400 speed color film in this, and we're going to go take some pictures and see how well I can use this meter. And speaking of using it, if you follow me down, I'll go through how this meter works. And you'll have to forgive me because I'll be a little fiddly with it because I've not used it extensively. I did, however, take the meter and go get my digital single lens reflex, the DSLR. Meter the light in this room, put those settings into the digital camera, and took pictures with it. And they came out great. So this thing works, okay? So let's go down and look at how it works. First of all, it comes in a little leather case that you can put on your belt. It also has something you can just hang around your neck, which is probably the way that I will use it. But you have a light meter here, and you can meter light with the hood closed, because there's a photo sensor there. You can meter light with the hood closed or with the hood open, or you can remove the hood, which is what I would do inside, indoors, where the light is very low. Outdoors, I might meter it with the hood closed, or I might open the hood depending on the conditions. But you have a ring down here, hood off, which is where I've been using it. Cover open. And cover closed. This ring here determines your ISO or ASA, your film speed. And right now you set it, it's set, I can't even read where it's set. But you see, okay, for instance, right there is your 400 speed film, correct? Alright. Well, I want if I can get it to do it, like I said, it's going to be fiddly because there we go. So now, you see, sorry, I don't know if that'll focus or not, but it's set to 400. So I have my film speed. And now what I would do, and I'm going to take the meter off, I would meter the light. Okay, you see that light, it says 10, right? So what I would do, with the meter off, I would choose hood off, and I would move this arrow. See where it says light here? This is the light that I have coming into the meter. And I would set that on 10. And so now if I look up here, and let's look at these numbers here are your aperture or f-stop. And I see if I look at f4, it looks to me like 25 thousandths of a second, 1/25th of a second rather. Somewhere in that range, 1/25th will give me proper exposure. If I wanted to shoot at f8, you would see that it would be about 1/8 of a second. You have 1/5 here, and you have 1/10 of a second. In the middle of that, I would judge to be at about 1/8, an 1/8 or a 1/7. It's just any of the corresponding, like, okay, if I want to shoot at f2, the shutter speed would be 100. f1.4 would be 200. Well, actually, yeah, would be 200. So any of the numbers corresponding with the f-stop, any of the shutter speeds there that correspond with the f-stop, if I set my camera to f4, 1/25th of a second, that should be proper exposure to take a picture in here with the light that with the light reading I took off this meter. And that's how the thing works. Anyway, we're going to go take this out, and we're going to see how well it works and just have a little fun. Alright, there are a ton of, well, quite a bit of little patches of woods around my house. And I'm in one of those little patches of woods. And my vehicle is broke down. So this is what I'm working with. And I can find stuff to take pictures of. What I'm doing I'm going to take a shot of, I don't know if you can see it or not, but this leaf, or whatever you would call it, these needles from this pine, or whatever that is. I believe that's a pine, but and I'm on an incline, so, but I took a meter reading and it said at f5.6 1/400th of a second. My camera doesn't do 1/400, it does 1/500th, but that's minimal change. And so what I'm going to do, I have it on a timer. I'm going to look through this viewfinder and make absolutely sure everything is exactly the way I want it to be. And we are focused exactly how I want to be focused. And I'm going to take the shot. And so we've got that, but now this is the first shot on the roll of film. So I'm going to take a second shot just to be certain that I've gotten it on film. So set my timer, give the camera a second. Now we've got some slight motion, a slight little breeze, but f5 or 1/500th of a second should handle that well. And that's the shot. Once again, I took a meter reading, and I'm taking a shot of this. What I'm doing is basically going around and looking at little tiny close-up kind of things, because right now that's about all we got so far. There might be something better that comes along as I roam around, but for right now I'm just trying to isolate little spots, little patches that I think are cool. And I got a 1/125th of a second, once again an f5.6, because what I'm trying to do is trying to find a sweet spot on the lens. That's usually in a lot of lenses between 5.6 and f8, but I'm also trying to find a spot where I can get as sharp as I can but still have a little bit of black background bokeh. Don't know if it'll turn out that way, but we'll see. I have the timer on once again, and I'm going to take the shot. And I don't have a macro lens on this camera, so I can't get true macro or really, really close-up shots. I've got to kind of take what the lens will give me. Let's move on, see if we can find something else. All right, I've got this path running along here, and you see that? It's pretty much a dead tree, and there's green around it. I'm going to try for that shot. I think this path will work as a leading line. I am at f11, and I took a meter reading, and the meter reading registered somewhere between 1/250th of a second and 1/400th of a second. So I have my timer on. I'm going to take a shot at 1/250th, and then I'm going to take one at 1/500th of a second. Alright, and I don't know if I mentioned it. I actually don't think that I did, and I've got to get up here because I'm short. Yeah, that's 1/500th. But I am using Fuji Superia Extra 400 speed film. Make sure everything's, yeah, the composition is still the same. At 1/500th of a second now. Alright, I got this fallen tree with a big stump here, and it shoots on down the hill. I think that might look okay. There's a lot of stuff going on though in this photograph. If you look at, you got this stump here, you've got all the different dead limbs and trees and that little evergreen growing up alongside of it. And so I don't know if this will be, a spectacular shot, but right now I'm taking what I can find where I'm at. So I'm at f/16 at 250th of a second, and again, timer. I'm looking at this dead tree stump here, and that dead tree that's laid out that way. What I want to do, I'm going to take one shot with the focus on that stump, that dead stump sticking up out of the ground there. Like a nettle or something in my finger. And then I'm going to take a second shot focused on that fallen log. So I'm at 1/50th of a second at f/16 according to the meter. Timer. And I got the wind blowing. I'm gonna try to hold off for a second. That motion is going to be evident at 1/50th of a second. Well, maybe not. I've got a 52 millimeter lens on it. It might be just enough. We will see. I'm going to take the shot. And if the good Lord's with me, it'll chill. Alright, now what I'm going to do, advance the film, reset the timer, and now I'm going to refocus on the fallen log. And there is not very much separation when I focus on that fallen log as there is if I focus in the foreground here on this stump. So I'm not sure how that'll turn out, but same settings, 1/50th of a second at f/16 with a timer. I have this small evergreen tree. It's got this, that's a spruce, and that I believe is a pine. And they are next to each other, but I want to focus in on the little spruce first. Then I will probably back up and try to get them above. But I'm at 1/125th of a second at f/16. That's what the meter gave me. I have a timer. and I was in portrait mode. Now what I'm going to do is back up. Come back just a hair more. I'm going to take another meter reading. It shouldn't have changed that much, and it didn't. Same exposure. In portrait mode, I'm going to check my framing one more time. Set a timer. Take the shot. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see in the frame, but we have this going on that may or may not have gotten into that frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the focal point a bit, try to make sure I can take that out of the frame. If it's in the frame, I do not know. I do not see it, but this is an old camera, and it might not be 100% what you see in the viewfinder is what you get in the picture, so I want to be sure. I know you probably can't see what's going on. We're going to take the shot, and I doubt exposure has changed. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for coming along. Later.